How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Today's been a really good day.
Good. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
I just want to make sure I get your name right. Mayila.
Yeah, that was perfect.
All your Instagram posts, your song has been getting a lot of success getting on like Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I'm excited about that. This is the first song that's really gained that much traction on Spotify, so it's pretty cool.
Wow. How did that song come all together? Like, what inspired you to make that song?
Um, Really just it was so funny like what that song has been through
Yeah.
from inception to the end. I started with one sort of loop from this producer, and I wrote maybe like a little bit of it, and then I found out I couldn't use that loop. Then I had like several different producers produce the song, and it wasn't until Jay Biss, a producer who produced my first song that I put out, he did something on it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And yeah, the lifespan of that song was from like February to September, so it took a little time to get it right, but
Yeah.
once we all got it right, people liked it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And do you think that throughout your different songs that you tend to focus on like a specific theme?
um would I say that I focus on a specific theme? I mean, I have a lot of breakup songs, but I also have a few that are a little more existential and more introspective.
Yeah.
So I think I tend to go toggle between those two ideas of life introspection and also breaking up with someone.
Yeah, definitely. And specifically like your first songs, what was it like creating those songs, especially like being like a newer artist? So with Me Plus Me and Energy.
Yeah. Um, well, I wasn't even going to be putting out songs. I spent, and still do, spend a lot of time writing for others.
Yeah.
So I was always in the studio writing songs for other people. And then this guy who has this blog, R and Bass, listened to one of my demos that I was submitting for someone else, and came to me and was like, I want you to do a song with me. So he's the one who really kind of like got me started on releasing my own music.
Yeah.
And then with Energy, when it comes to that song, I've it's funny because it's very much indicative of my time in LA and just what my experience has been.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of experiences with just really phony people. And it just kind of inspired me to write that song about not having the energy for said phony people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how those came about.
So so that was the moment that you kind of like decided, okay, I want to do this as a career, or was it always a passion of yours?
Music in general,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely always a passion, definitely always something that I pursued in different facets throughout life. I used to do musical theater. I used to perform dance. Uh, I used to just do a lot of different mediums like study piano at one point. It wasn't until maybe like 4 years ago that I finally took everything that I learned and decided that I was going to like try and work in the actual music industry, in the major music industry. So I would say that like for all the people who grew up around me, they're not surprised that I make music and that I've written songs for other people and whatever. They're not surprised because I've always been involved in music in some way, shape, or fashion, you know? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Do you prefer singing songs for yourself or songwriting for others, like are the artists?
I would say I love both equally for different reasons.
Yeah.
And what I'll say about writing for other people is that there's a lot of reward. It's very rewarding, and it's very you get a lot of feedback like instantly. Like when you're writing for yourself and writing with your team or by yourself, you only hear about your music, and you only hear like the review of your music from the circle that you've made, you know? What I love about songwriting is that you always get some sort of feedback when it comes to sending it to A&Rs or sending it to fellow songwriters, or there's just a big network of like getting feedback on your music, which I really appreciate, just having that dialogue. And another thing about songwriting that I love is that you basically get to write all the time. Like when I'm writing for myself, like right now I'm in the middle of a project that I'm planning on putting out next year. And once I'm done writing for that, I mean, I could always keep writing, but I'm not going to be able to release music as quickly as I'm writing it, you know? And with songwriting, there's so much more of an opportunity to release music because you're releasing under other people. So this person could release this month, and then the next month, and then someone else that following month. So I do appreciate songwriting for all those things. But then at the end of the day, sometimes you want to just say exactly what you want to say. You want to sing exactly what you want to sing. And that's why you have, or for me, that's why I have my own artistry, to be able to get out exactly what I want to say on a song.
Definitely. And when working with different talent, I know you talked a little bit about this, but how does the process differ like depending on who you're working with? Like how do you find your creative mindset for that? Since if you're not like writing directly for yourself.
Right. Well, firstly, when it comes to just the creativity and how do I find the creativity, and how do I find the mindset of working with different people, I think every like great songwriter that I've studied, they study the artist that they're writing for. So that's something that I like to incorporate into my own system too, is whoever I'm working with, I want to study them first. I want to know their music. I want to know the kind of things that they say and the kind of words and slang that they say. And I just want to understand them as a creative, so that when I come to them and we're collaborating, I'm saying things that make sense for this artist, you know?
Yeah. You got to know the ins and outs of each artist.
Right. Exactly.
And who do you choose who you want to work with?
That's interesting. Yeah, I would say I every artist that I've worked with it's all been random. like, I don't think there's one artist that I went and was like, I want to work with you, let's work together.
Okay, it kind of just like came.
It just kind of came to me, kind of fell in my lap, or they heard of me through some other person and wanted me to come in. And yeah, all really very by chance and happenstance, and yeah, just kind of meant to be, I think.
Yeah. Is there a song that you're most proud of that you've written
Mm,
or that stands out?
yeah, this one is pretty obscure. It's not popular out of all the songs that I've written, but this song called Furniture by The Bonfire, I was really proud of that one because it took me out of my comfort zone in a way, and it doesn't sound like anything that's popular. Like it's so left field and obscure.
Yeah.
And yeah, that song really really challenged me as a writer, and I really like to be challenged.
Yeah, for sure. And has there been a specific unexpected moment that's happened in your career? How you were like, wow.
Hmm, unexpected moment. Well, I would say when I was first starting to get opportunities as a writer, um, I was still an intern at Atlantic, and people were just hearing of my music randomly. And I remember one of the A&Rs calling me, the intern, into their office and was just telling me that they loved my music and they want to help me, advance my career. At the same time, this A&R called Hitmaker was in the same office, and really he just gave me my first opportunity, and I kind of just chased him to LA. So I think that was a real pivotal moment, because it took me to LA, and kind of just LA is one of those places that really can change the path of your career because there's so much action there, and there's so much energy. So I think, yeah, that was definitely like an outstanding moment in my career so far.
So you hadn't planned to go to Los Angeles. It kind of just happened.
Oh yeah, definitely kind of just happened. Like I came with one suitcase and $50 just happened.
Wow.
Like,
You really made a name for yourself. That's great.
yeah,
Wow.
took some time and a lot of hard work and sleepless nights, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I brought you here today, so.
Yeah.
I know you've had some live performances. Do you mind talking a little bit about maybe your favorite performances or a specific event that you've enjoyed the most?
Well, you know what was going to be my favorite performance? Performing at freaking South by Southwest. I was supposed to perform there this year, and it got canceled. The whole festival obviously got canceled because of COVID. So, and as far as like any upcoming performances, I haven't had any coming up just because of COVID.
Of course.
One of my favorite performances was with 𝕒𝕟𝕣𝕘𝕪. It was something that I did last year. Last year? Yeah. Last year. Came up super randomly, but yeah, I ended up performing with him one of his songs in Atlanta. So yeah, that was really cool.
Wow. Would you be open to virtual shows in the future?
Yes, I did one virtual show and I really loved it. It was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, definitely open to some virtual shows.
Yeah, I'd love to see you in a virtual show.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you're on stage, like, how's that feeling? I know it's been a little bit, of course, with COVID, but that must be an
Yeah.
insane feeling.
Oh man, it's one of my favorite feelings. That's one reason why I really started to take my artistry seriously, because
Yeah.
one thing about being a songwriter is you're always in the studio, and the studio is fun, but you never get fully dressed for the studio.
Yeah.
You never really put on a full face of makeup, and that's something that I missed about
Yeah.
performing live. So yeah, performing live is definitely one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Hopefully soon in the future.
Oh yeah, and definitely in the post-COVID future, there's going to
Yeah.
be a lot more shows.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit in the beginning about your upcoming project. Are you able to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. Well, the project I know for sure is called Room. It's titled after one of the singles that I co-produced, which I'm so excited. It's the first song that I've
Exciting.
yeah, that I've co-produced. Um, yeah, so it should be about 4 songs. Um, and I'm planning on releasing late January, early February. So yeah,
Wow. Okay,
it'll be
that's
fun.
very exciting.
Yeah, it'll be the first project that I put out.
Wow.
Yeah.
For the specific artists that you've worked with, has there been like a memorable moment or artist that you've worked with that's kind of like been your favorite time?
Hmm. That is a good question. I think in general, because I can't think of like a specific moment, but in general,
Mhm.
when I was working with Kelly Rowland, that was probably one of my favorite sessions, just because she's so nice, like genuinely nice. And
Yeah.
being nice is like a rarity,
Right.
especially when it comes to music. So just being around that really pure energy, that really just nice energy, was honestly really a lot of fun, really refreshing.
Yeah. Would you say that that's one of the biggest challenges being an artist in the industry? Kind of like
Oh,
very fast paced.
yeah. Well, yeah. That's one thing for sure, is that everything's fast paced for sure.
Yeah.
Um, Another, well, I would say the hardest thing is like having work-life balance.
Mhm.
I think it's very easy to work, 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 and never like see the sun, you know,
Yeah.
or anything else. So honestly, I would say that is the most difficult. When it comes to working with people, I think the most difficult thing is just keeping your head on straight. You know, there's so many different personalities that you deal with on a regular,
Yeah.
that it's just kind of important to stay true to yourself no matter who you're around.
Mhm.
I think that's just like a in general thing. That's a very good LA piece of advice too. like
Yeah.
that has to do with the industry and also just LA in general.
Yeah. It's good to know.
Yeah.
I live in Los Angeles too, so I
Oh,
definitely
okay.
it's very
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you've looked up to throughout your career?
Quincy Jones is definitely one. Michael Jackson, the late great Michael Jackson. Beyonce obviously would be one. Smokey Robinson. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I look up to, mostly performers and writers.
Yeah. And do you say you have like a set of goals for the future, or?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is a basic goal, but just continue to run it up.
Yeah.
That's really it. Just um, continue to get more placements and release more music and just kind of keep going. I think I've put in a lot of work over the past 4 years, so I just want to, level up.
Yeah. Thank you so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate it. You're definitely an artist that stood out, so I had to reach out to you for an interview.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you
Well,
taking the time to talk to me too.